Clippity clap. NGMI's back. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the NGMI podcast. This is so weird. The camera's over here for me now. Like, I feel like I kind of should angle like this so that I'm like looking towards the camera a little bit. I don't like my side.
You want to look towards us.
I got a big old nose.
Do you have a good side and bad side?
I have two good sides.
Wow, nice. Lucky you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Bad side, good side?
This is my good side. Can you tell?
No.
I think good side and bad side is just people's personal, because you look at yourself, like you could probably see like something that Kevin and I wouldn't see.
Yeah, I definitely like if I take a photo on Snapchat or something and it doesn't mirror it, like I like the way it looks like that. When I take a photo on my camera roll,
then it
flips it afterwards, I'm like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
put
that
it back
sucks.
the way I saw it.
I think I have like a good side and then a better side. There's no bad side.
Yeah, there we go. That's the spirit. High five.
Nice.
Dude, this is cool. We're all close to each other. We can touch.
We can touch.
Jack's not in the closet.
We can touch.
We
can
play footsie down here.
We can grab your dick from our table.
What
I've
kind
been
of
giving Jack a hand job the entire time we've been going here.
what kind of podcast are we filming? Like,
Oh, it's
Just three brothers. Fucking.
Before we get into this episode, I want to let you guys know that I have a new song coming out on October 7th. You can pre-save it, linked in the description below. It's called Leave Me Alone.
So it comes out tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Tomorrow
Pacific.
night at 9 p.m., baby. So
Midnight if you're in
pre-save
New
it
York.
and get ready to listen. Also, if you want a little sneak preview of the music video and the song before it's out, you can check it out on patreon.com/Scotty Sire. That's where you get all the unreleased music, the bonus content, the $11 merch.
The music video doesn't come out Friday, right? Because you're shooting that tomorrow?
It's going to be edited very quickly, sir. Ooh. I already shot the music video, guys.
I thought you were shooting it tomorrow.
yeah, but
Or Sunday.
The music video is coming out.
Oh, when this came out, it's already been shot. But in our timeline, it's not shot yet.
Moving on.
uh-huh.
Guys, welcome back to the NGMI podcast.
Season 2.
Season 2. We got an all-new set. We didn't hang this up yet. Jack and I set up these walls the other day.
Yeah, we put these fucking walls up, Kevin.
Yeah, we did. And we got this table here. We were like, let's go minimalistic. Let's just get a little table. Then we're going to get a tablecloth eventually.
Yeah.
Every episode something new.
Every episode, a little like bonus addition to the podcast set. But we're not going to go all in and be like, here, let's fucking throw shit all over the place like the last
Look
set.
too cluttered.
We're just scaling up.
Yeah, this one feels like
Nice.
clean.
Yeah.
Nice. Sleek.
A lot more eye contact.
Yeah. We
Like, I feel like I'm really looking into
we're
your
like
eyes.
really
now.
having a conversation now.
Yeah.
This feels so much better.
Feels a
So
lot
much
deeper.
Yeah, because last time I'd be like looking like always like around the room. Like
You're
back
like
and
looking
forth.
at me like 50 yards away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack's like in the closet in the shadows and couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On our last podcast, we talked about how we had lost one of our friends and a big supporter of this podcast. And
Yeah.
we were actually building the set. And once we finished it, Jack was like, damn, it's going to suck when we do this first podcast. Like, Andrew's not going to like send us a message or like leave a comment about how like what he thinks of the set. Like, it really sucks to think that like someone could be gone like that. And, you know, like you're constantly thinking about like, what would they have said? You know, what would they have sent? And,
He would have loved it.
I think he would have liked it. But also, Andrew had given us a gift for our podcast set that we forgot to open for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And now that we're back in this new set, we can open it up. It's a poster.
You know it's a poster?
You can tell
Okay.
that it's a poster.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Did
Andrew,
you just raise your seat?
No.
I raised my seat so I look taller than Kevin.
why would you do that?
Are you shorter than
You're
me?
gonna block him
I
in
don't
the
know. I
view,
feel like
dude.
No, he's leaned in.
So anyways, this is a gift from Andrew, and we might as well just, who wants to pop it open?
You.
Okay.
You were his number one.
He was number 1.
Okay, SpongeBob.
What is the poster?
This is where I'll cut to the wide.
It's a map of the United States because we are very geographically challenged.
Oh,
I think he sent this after we did like the GeoGuessr episode. And
No,
he's
when
like,
you guys didn't fucking know where
anything was.
Washington, D.C. was.
I still have a map in the. It's like at the front of my bed from when I was in 5th grade trying to learn the states, and I could never learn them. It's still
And it's got the
there.
capitals. That's the thing, too. We kept fucking up the capitals. We're like,
Yeah.
What's the capital of Oregon?
Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Andrew.
We will hang this up at another time, but for now, We would just appreciate the gift.
No, that's actually good, because now anytime we have
when someone asks a question,
we'll just glance up there and we'll be like, oh yeah,
I'll never
no.
look stupid again.
Yeah.
We'll keep it out of frame so people don't think we're looking at a map.
Yeah. Now I just have to learn how to spell tomorrow and I'll be good.
Tomorrow.
Hey, you still spell it wrong, huh?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Speaking of the map, this is a more serious topic. Again, I wanted to bring up Iran because there's something going on there. There's a lot of
Yeah, you researched it a bunch,
revolt.
right?
I mean, like I couldn't sleep one day, and I woke up and I was like, I really should like look into what's going on in the world, like and understand what's happening with other people, and not be so.
I didn't hear anything about it until you told me like a few days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
I don't
crazy.
have Twitter, and I
Still
feel like
don't know.
Twitter is a big source of like news for people.
Definitely.
And I don't look at the news app on my phone, so I feel like I don't get news.
Yeah, I feel like Twitter is like a way for millennials and Gen Z to really spread news and information. Also
Yeah.
misinformation.
Right.
But
did you know about it?
No, I haven't heard anything about it.
you haven't heard anything
yeah,
about
I've been
it?
buried in schoolwork. Haven't really looked at anything.
Oh my God.
Well, but you researched it, and you're gonna enlighten us and
Yeah,
tell us a
I
little
just
bit about
think
it.
it's something that everyone should be aware of. I'm not sure exactly how we can help. I have an article open here. This is like what we can do to help.
Uh-huh.
But essentially, it's like a rights issue in Iran. And what happened was there was a girl named, I don't want to fuck up the name. Let me make sure. Masa Amini, and she's a 22-year-old girl. Sorry, she's a 22-year-old girl. And you're supposed to wear your hijab like a certain way where your hair is not showing at all.
Yes.
And she apparently had like a little bit of hair sticking out or something like that. And she was taken into custody by the morality police or whatever. It's like this.
That's what they're called?
Morality police. And they brought her to like a detention center. I call it a detention center. It reminds me seriously of like an Auschwitz sort of situation there. Like they take you to a punishment center where you get like corrected on your behavior, and they beat her to death because her hijab was not on correctly, I guess. Based on their morality, their law, their rules there.
I didn't know it was Iran, but I've seen like the revolts and stuff, like a couple like videos or stuff like on like circulating around about it.
Yeah, there's revolts there, and I think they spread to like other places as well, because it's just like a human rights issue.
That's
where
crazy.
It's like they're fighting for their right to not be beaten to death because their hair is showing, you know? Like it seems very barbaric and like so like far in the Stone Age that is the way that things are working over there. And people were outraged because it was a 22-year-old girl, like such a young person, and her life was taken away from her because she wasn't wearing her hijab properly. And there was something about India as well. I remember it was like a meme that I saw. It wasn't a funny meme, but it was something like, it's not ironic that in India they're fighting for their right to like wear it, and in Iran they're fighting for their right to take it off. They both are similar. The thing is that it's a choice. Like they're trying to give women the choice. It's the same thing that's happened with like the abortion
they're
thing
opposites,
here.
They're still being
They're still fighting for their
from
right.
doing what they want to do.
They're still fighting for their rights to do what they want to do with their bodies and stuff like that. So I think it's important for everyone to be aware of what's going on over there, because that stuff trickles into like every part of society and everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of controversy over like the U.S. getting involved with other countries and things like that. Like we have gotten involved in stuff for oil and other like war things. And so it is a big deal. And I think that I read something about President Biden being kind of like hesitant to get involved in it because of previous backlash from other other presidents getting involved over there.
It's like, oh, you get involved when you want oil, but when you're helping people out, you won't get involved.
Yeah, and I
Exactly.
think it's interesting, like Jack said, like we both didn't see like too much about it. I just seen like random like some odd like couple of videos about it, but it's like really interesting. Like the last like few years, I feel like it's been pushed more. Like what the news is showing is like not like everything. They'll just like plaster like one thing over and over again, and it's like more and more prevalent as we go on.
It's whatever they want you to see.
Yeah.
And that's the way it works here. Is like what they want you to see is what you see in the news, essentially.
That's
and
it.
over there, it's like that as well. So we have a form of censorship where it's like, cover this news. This is the news that we want Americans to see, and it's not exactly censored, but in Iran, they're completely censoring their access to the internet and their ability to post things that other people can see.
Yeah.
Like people that want to post about what's going on in Iran from Iran have to use VPN services and whatnot. Like they don't have access to all the things. Like it's not like a free internet.
Yeah.
which is similar to like North Korea as well. Like
I was just
they
gonna say, yeah.
cannot use stuff to like get their information out.
It's like oppressive to like keep people down and like keep them like their minds like away from everything else, not let them out, you know, like to not see like what's going on in the world.
And they'll tell people, you know, like what's going on isn't bad. Like they shut down everything. Like footage of the revolts and like things that they're doing to their citizens and whatnot is like super like swept under the rug, like this didn't happen at all, sort of thing. But like some of the videos that leak, like that we see, are from people using VPNs and like trying to like doing like sneaky really things to like get stuff out into the world and show what's really happening, which is probably why there's not as much being seen, is because it's harder for people to share.
Right.
But there's been some extreme brutality and like all sorts of shit going on over there. And other things that I've read about it is that like all these revolts and like these, they're asking for change, hoping for change, fighting for change. What I've read is that it's most likely not going to cause any change. They're like, don't write it off. Like there's a chance that it could cause a change, but the way that their government works is they're very much like, what's the word for it? Like old heads. Like they have,
isn't it
stuck in their kind of ways that just won't change.
I don't believe it's called a dictator, but it is very much a dictatorship in that sense. Like they just got a new, I think it's called a president over there, that is like very much old religious ways, whereas the previous president, my God, was more progressive and like kind of like turning back, like getting rid of some of these like oppressive laws. And they got that guy out of office. There's a new guy in office who is like all about like the old religious ways there, and like hide your hair, women suck, don't speak unless you're spoken to, sort of like that sort of shit. So like that's what's going on there. They're fighting for their rights, and I encourage you to look it up, see what you can do to help. I am on an article. So basically, as far as like what you can do is you could donate to human rights organizations based in Iran, and we'll
sure there's like a link we can find that we can put in the description.
I have a couple right here, so we can link a couple in our description for human rights organizations in Iran and other places, if you guys want to research and maybe try to help out a little bit. We're not like a very serious podcast generally, but I felt like that was like something that should be talked about. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, I have like some Iranian friends that are like, why is nobody talking about this? Like all of my family, my people are getting like slaughtered essentially in these like riots, and like our rights are being violated. So I think that it's important to kind of spread the word a little bit about things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But moving on, what's been going on in your guys' lives this last month?
Fucking nothing.
Fucking nothing.
About the same for me. I just started school. That's about it.
Yeah, how's school going?
School's all right.
Hadn't you started school before we ended?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Really? Damn.
It's weird too, because we had a whole episode filmed that didn't work out because we lost the audio, and I'm like, what did we talk about there that they don't know, but we did talk about?
I started school. I guess I started it before we ended. I forgot about that. It's been a long few weeks.
Yeah, what are your grades like, Kevin?
Well, just finished midterm, so I'll know soon, but...
what were they leading up to midterms?
Well, they're A's before. It's just homework.
All A's?
Yeah. Well, you keep the A's before the midterms, of course.
I'm telling you, man, this dude flipped
when I was
shit
first
around.
in school, I was at like C's and D's before midterm.
I just took tests on like probabilities and shit, and I hate probabilities.
When do you find out about your midterms?
I find out next week, I think.
Damn.
Are you scared?
Damn.
No. I did really good on one of them, but probabilities I did not do good. I can't do like the mental like thinking to like say like a bird lands on this tree, like what's the probability it flies away and lands on like a separate tree and then comes back, like stuff like that, like confuses the fuck out of me.
They gotta give you some statistics there.
Do you know about
there's real numbers that go with it. Like,
is that a whole class?
Yeah.
Did you talk about the Monty Hall problem?
What's that?
It's like a probability thing of like if you're on a game show and there's 5 doors. I can't even get into it. It fucking hurts my head. You might get into it.
It's biostatistics, and I didn't realize this, but half my classes are like coding, because I guess like a lot of biology classes have like huge sample sizes, like when you take data, and instead of like doing it the old-fashioned way, now they have code. So my classes are like coding probabilities as well, and I was not ready for that. It's fucking confusing.
When you first told me that, I was like, oh, hell yeah, Kevin's going to learn how to code? That's going to be so good to use in other parts of the world. And he's like, no, it's a specific biology coding software.
It's not
useless. It's not anything you can use anywhere else.
Yeah, it's strictly just this. There's nothing else you can do with it.
You can't make software. You can't make websites.
You should fucking ask your teacher, be like, why don't you teach us on regular coding, so it
What's the
transfers
fucking point
over.
of this shit, man?
What is it? Java? Is that coding?
Java, CSS,
so, Java,
HTML. There's all sorts of.
Like, why can't they fucking teach you on that?
I was like, yeah, it was kind of cool. I was like, yeah, coding, okay, cool. Like, I mean, I don't want to learn it, but like, if I'm going to, and then they got there like, yeah, this is a specific like biology code. I was like,
what the fuck do you need to code biology for?
I don't know. I don't know why it's.
What is biology? Body?
Yeah, you could code together some stuff in biology. Like that's probably how they make like hybrid species and shit like that. They're like, we could probably put like this genome and DNA.
That's
into
what you're
this
doing.
Thing.
Well, like what we're doing is like probabilities right now. I don't know what else we do, but like when you have like 1 million samples, right, or like tons of this data, you can't do it by hand, like calculating the standard error, or, like different things like that. So you run code to just do it. I mean, it's just simple stuff that we're doing right now, but.
Anything you just said went right over my head. I could not sit in a class and listen to that shit.
Yeah,
me neither. Me neither. I'd pass out and convulse. That's what I did in my class.
Want to know something crazy?
I want to know what you've been up to. Oh, you said nothing.
Yeah, just hanging out,
down the street,
living life.
The same old
we have
thing.
a foster dog. I guess we had
last week.
Our whole last episode. We
you
brought my my foster dog onto the episode, and that episode never even came out.
Yeah, do you still have it?
Oh yeah,
still.
I had to sit with that dog
Molly.
the whole episode and it didn't even get aired.
Yeah, we had a whole episode that our foster dog Molly was sitting next to Kevin, and Kevin was terrified.
I was not terrified of the dog. And
okay,
because it's not aired,
you wouldn't pet her.
He didn't want to break the dog by touching her.
Yeah.
You didn't want to like shift her over. You were scared to pick her up.
I never picked up a dog.
It was so funny.
He said he's never picked up a live or any living thing.
Well, I picked up a snake. I held a snake.
Okay.
Just not a dog.
You've held
like
Jake.
A cat.
You've held Jack in your hands.
Snake in the grass.
When Jack told us that the audio was gone, he was like, "This is what the camera audio sounds like," and you just hear
the dog walking around,
the dog like scraping shit,
the camera audio
snorting and like
sucks.
doing all sorts of shit. I was like, what this is like the worst possible scenario for this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Also, imagine just the audio listeners, just that,
and you hear like like all sorts
the AC,
of shit.
Yeah.
Well, is that gonna pick up in there?
I was gonna ask about that.
You can't really hear it.
That's good. I mean, a little hum is fine.
Especially since their fucking output is so goddamn low, you can't hear anything from here.
Yeah. Good.
Like they're not even picking up each other.
Oh.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Wonderful. What just happened? The audio listeners don't know.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
One
more thing. I asked you guys what you've been up to. Is anyone going to ask me about my fucking
What have you
day?
been
I don't
up to,
fucking
Scott?
care.
Anybody want to know what's going on in my life?
How are you doing, Scott?
Thanks, Kevin. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. That's
Okay.
really nice of you. It's polite to ask someone how they're doing as well.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
think we
I thought
know
of that
because you
before
just
you
vent
said
to
it.
us all the time.
I vent to you all the time.
Yeah.
I guess I did text you like yesterday. My past week and a half has been very minimal drinking. I've been just drinking a couple glasses of wine, and it's fucking fantastic. I also cut out like caffeine for the most part because I would drink caffeine in the morning, then I drink it like 4 or 5. Like if I worked out late, I'd drink caffeine.
See, I doubled down on the caffeine.
You doubled down on the caffeine because you started school.
Yeah.
But like I like shed like 7 or 8 pounds of alcohol, like bloat, within the first like week of cutting out alcohol. Because I would drink a lot. Like I drank like half bottle of tequila and 10 beers or like 10 White Claws like almost every night. And it was bad. Very bad.
That's bad.
very, very bad. We were sitting here setting up the set, and my assistant Alex, part-time assistant, we mentioned alcohol or something, and I was like talking about how I like haven't been drinking anything but a couple glasses of wine, and she was like, "Why don't you just not drink anything?" And I was like, "Well, I'm going off of like drinking like half a bottle of tequila and 10 beers," and she's like, "You're probably an alcoholic, right?" And I was like, "Probably."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% an alcoholic, but for all my alcoholics out there, I highly recommend cutting that shit out, dwindling it down a little bit, because like I felt like so good. I've been leaving my house. I've been going to like do other things, because like with the alcohol in my system, when I wake up the next day, I have so much like anxiety, and I never like quite put together that it was from the alcohol. Like when I'm like really hungover, sure, but like on my nightly thing, I'd wake up and be like, I'm not hungover. This is just like how I feel every day.
I would show up to pick you up for the podcast someday, and like every time you'd say like you're anxious or stressed or something, I was like, what were you doing yesterday? That's always what I'd ask, because I was like, you're probably drinking it? And I was like, yeah, probably. And I was like, oh, he's all right then.
Yeah, but it's like
he's all right.
There was days of extreme anxiety if like I got like if I go out and drink, then I drink
more
the whole night, and I drink more, and I wake up the next day feeling like shit. But like if I stay home and I'm like just like sipping something, making sure I'm drinking water at the same time, like then the next day I wake up, I was still having alcohol. So like I didn't put it together, but I was having all this anxiety from the night before, even though I don't feel hungover. Like I was.
It's still in there. Yeah.
So at this point, you're only drinking a little bit of wine, right?
Yeah. Like if I go out, I'm going to
right. What happens if you go out?
I'm going to drink and stuff, but I'm definitely going to make sure that I dial it back. Like it's very much in my head now. I'm like,
it's just
I feel
to
so much.
Back.
Yeah, I feel so much better now, drinking way less. That like I know if I'm going out, like generally it's like a social anxiety thing. Like, oh, I gotta have a drinks to like talk to people and stuff. Like I'm gonna like it's going to be in my head now. Like you're gonna feel like shit if you like really overdo it. And like I know you're having fun in the moment, but like it ruins days of your life afterwards. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And it's good sometimes, like fun to do every now and again. But yeah, like you said, like dialing it back, it's just good to realize like how it's affecting you. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you turned 21 and you decided like, all right, like every once in a while I'll have some drinks with my friends, but you still don't drink that often. And when you do, it's like fun, and then you just don't the rest of the time. Like you hardly ever drink.
Yeah.
And you were like active, always driving around doing shit. And like I feel like I got to this point where I was like, I'm like hitting rock bottom here where I'm like drinking and I can't fucking function unless I'm drinking again.
Right.
Like, I would wake up. The thing that happened that like made me like, all right, I just need to actually stop. Like was I went to Vegas for Jay's birthday. We went to Life is Beautiful Music Festival, and we were like just drinking. Like I was drinking more than everyone else too. Like
we saw the breathalyzer on your story.
That was fake. It wasn't real.
Oh.
That was a 0.38, like after I had just taken a sip of something, so it was just like blowing straight alcohol into the thing. That wasn't actual real. Jay was like not gonna post it because he was like it was the next day that he posted it. Like he didn't post it that night because he didn't want people to be like, oh my god, like Scott's like such a fucking alcoholic. But like I was like, go ahead, fucking post it. It's not even real.
Yeah.
But like we go the first night. And I start drinking, and we go to the festival and drink, and I'd like drink. Wake up the next day, feel like shit. Try to get a workout in. I drink coffee, which also heightens my anxiety.
Yeah.
And then like after the workout, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dying. I feel like shit because I have like alcohol, caffeine in my system, and I'm like, I need a beer now. And then I start like drinking all day long until we go to the festival again, which I was like so tired for. Like I didn't want to go at all anyway, but I did. So pushing myself through another day using alcohol. Then the third day, I'm like, we're not going to the festival, but like I feel like shit, so I'm gonna drink all day long again. Try to drink less, but doesn't fucking work. Then Monday, I woke up at 5:30 for a flight at 7 a.m. and I was like, all right, I have to get on a plane. Like I'm hungover. I'm gonna be anxious on the plane. Let me have like 5 shots of tequila. I missed the flight. Come back home, pissed off. Drink some beers. Like I was like, what is fucking wrong? Like I can't like.
Yeah.
There's
like
a lot of
wake up moment kind of.
Yeah. You gotta get a rubber band, and then when you're like 5 shots. Snap you out of it.
I have like a weird disposition towards it as well because I've done it for so long and it's been my coping mechanism for so long. There's so many people who've never used that as their coping mechanism when they're hungover, that they're just like, oh, I feel like shit, like whatever, it'll go away because I'm not drinking. But for me, I'm like, I'll just drink less today and it'll slowly go away instead of just like getting through the hard part. I'm like, I take the easy way out and be like, all right, I'm gonna drink more alcohol, which is bad. And also I have this like medical trauma, which is what we talked about in class. Like I dropped out of college after I passed out in a class twice. So the first time I passed out, I had a long weekend with friends like in Havasu, like drinking and shit, and I went to class like the day after I got home, and I was like dehydrated and feeling like shit. My body was worn down, claustrophobic. I have an anxious brain naturally, and I had like a alcohol hangover induced panic attack in that classroom. So I have this medical trauma from that happening, and I passed out several times from after alcohol or even during like that, like a bender basically. And I have this medical trauma now where I'm so hungover that I need a beer or else I'm going to have a panic attack, and that's going to happen to me again. So I like need to make sure that I don't get to that point anymore.
Like you said, it's like all in your head. Like once you do it like once, like drinking after you're hungover to like help yourself, it's like easy to just do it again. You like know that it's gonna work. You know that it's gonna like fix you up. Like it's the easy way out, but like that's what you know to do. You know. Yeah,
you develop this habit, and so like what I've been trying to do now is break the habit. The hardest habit for me is like since I drink every night now, the hardest thing is going to be like, all right, tonight is no wine at all. Like you're good without any alcohol.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
And it's also good, like you realize like when you wake up in the morning you're anxious but you're not hungover, because that's like the hard part is like realizing like why do I feel this way even though I didn't get super drunk or anything.
It ended up being like, you were hungover. You just like don't know what a normal hangover feels like. You're always hungover. That's your fucking problem.
And it's a huge cause. Like, you always seemed like anxious or stressed when I come like pick you up. So it's good that like you get it. Realize like drinking is affecting that or anything like that.
It wasn't the drinking. I just hated going to that apartment.
It was a lot of work. Like always pulling up here and then driving over there, and Jack's late, and then
we're like texting about like.
It is weird too that I think every single episode Kevin picked you up.
That became a thing.
Did you drive once?
That became a thing because he liked it. And then that became just like what we did.
The first episode I came up, Scott was like, "Do you want me to drive?" I was like, "No, I'll drive." And then the next time he goes, "Yeah, you can just come pick me up again." I was like, "Perfect, we'll do that every time." I like driving. I like driving. I'd always like pick songs on the way up, like what Scott would want to listen to or something like that I thought would be fun.
Kevin's baby driver, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would always listen to the songs that like I used to play when we lived together, and I was like,
that was my favorite.
Like younger, yeah, it was fun. We'll have to like drive to like lunches and stuff after the podcast.
He's never gonna get in your car again, Kevin.
Well, I was honestly this on the way up. I was like, "Damn, my car looks fucked up right now," because I haven't had time from school. I was like, "Oh, Scott's not even getting in it. We're good. We're saved."
You would care if your car was messy if I got into it?
Well, no, but like I don't want it to be messy.
Sure.
I feel that.
Do you want to know something crazy?
I want to know something crazy.
Do you guys know about Dolly 2?
Who?
No. Dolly, is that like Dolly Parton?
Or just Dolly?
The second?
No.
It's a AI that you type anything in, and AI generates images for it.
Oh, is that what it's called? Dolly 2?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
From OpenAI or something.
Yeah.
But it's an AI generator, and you can type whatever the fuck you want, and it'll generate it. And before today, or a couple days ago, it was only available on an invite basis, so you had to get invited to it. But in the last couple days, it became available for anyone to hop on and type something in, and it'll generate for you. So I thought,
wait, what does it generate for you?
You haven't seen it? So it's like
anything.
Like
it's an image.
You can type in like Space Invaders like raid a castle, and it draws this image of like what they think it'd look like.
I think I do remember seeing something about that on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, and it was on, people were on TikTok making TikToks about it. But since it's available now, I was able to hop on, and I typed in Scotty Sire, and I was like, what? I wonder what will come up.
I'm curious.
And I'll put these up on screen. And this is fucking crazy. That it just does this in a matter of 10 seconds, typing in Scotty Sire. So here's the first one.
The fuck?
Is that a real image or no?
No, it's
holy shit.
That's not a real thing.
There is an image that looks exactly like that of me doing that.
Right. It's because it's probably like sourcing stuff. But then look at this one.
You see the head.
That one's funny.
Like, it's weirdly not you, but then it has like tattoos that kind of match you.
It's me at Wango Tango, bro.
This one kind of looks more like Kevin. Yeah, what? Isn't that?
Damn, why does Dolly think I'm so fucking ugly, man? They're also all like music stuff. Like, that's not majority of my content on the internet.
But isn't that fucking weird?
That's crazy.
That's the world we live in now.
That is the world we live in now. As far as this podcast goes, like, what is the future for this podcast? Like, what are we gonna do on each episode? Are we gonna start? What's something we can change? I want to know from you guys too. Like, what's something that you guys want to see now that we're on the second season? I think we're really open to suggestions and like making a little change to like the way we have conversation, what we're talking about.
I think we also, in the last episode, since it didn't come out, I think we kind of talked about it. But I think for season 2 in this space, we talked about how it's going to be less like guest interview oriented and more just like
topical.
The three of us topical.
I was gonna say
more of like a conversational.
I would like to have like a like consistent thing. Like each episode we have something that we do. You know, like a topic or something that we talk about each episode or certain things like that.
Yeah,
like consistent.
I like something consistent. I don't want it to be like a routine.
Not
schedule,
the same thing,
of course, but like like I think we should even have like a bullet point list of like 5 things that we really do want to bring up on the podcast, and like maybe only 3 of them get brought up, but like we should come a little bit more prepared. Like today, I was like,
I had Dolly 2 prepared, bro.
You had Dolly 2.
You had Iran
and my alcoholism.
I was studying.
You had school.
Kevin was studying. Yeah, like I think that we need to have like a little bit more of a.
Yeah, we gotta just think a little bit more beforehand.
Yeah.
Even just like, I know a lot of people do this of just like throughout our week, if something comes up,
just write it down.
Just like remember in your head to write it in a notes app so you have a thing that you can pull from of like, oh, I wanted to talk about this, because I feel like a lot of times we just come on the podcast and we're just like, all right, let's start rolling, go.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of like try and stumble along and try and get the footing, where if we have planned things out, that'll have a better like structure and flow, and then maybe stuff can sprout from that of like, oh, people like when we really talk about this. So then we kind of form like a segment. Or
I think it also happens, like it also works a lot better when we're all doing shit. Like you're in school, so like you can't talk about school every episode. I know that you do stuff, but like I'm saying,
he's really offended.
And you do photography, filmography, play Rust. Like you like work, and then you play Rust. Like what worked for like Jason and David when they did views was like they were talking about things that happened outside of the vlogs that were posted. So it was like it was interesting. People like wanted to hear about that. Like when I did Scott Cast with Jeff, it was a lot of Jeff bringing up stuff that was like going on. Like he was like, I saw Tan on a plane, she smoked weed on the plane, or like offered me, like there was like things going on in their lives that made it like more time, like there was more things to talk about.
I think that's the thing we got to get better at, is because
that's what I'm saying right now is like because I've been able to like get out of my house and like do shit, and like I've gotten to a point where I'm like much more active now, and I like want to do things outside of sit at my house, and like I can't just record a podcast about nothing my whole life. Like it has to be like I have to do other things with my life in order to be able to talk about them.
Right.
I can't just pull shit out of thin air.
But even the smallest things can have some sort of story come out of it. Like you could go to the fucking grocery store and have a good story, and then that leads to Kevin, and Kevin's like, oh, that reminds me of this thing,
Yeah. We gotta
us learning how a podcast works.
We're learning how a
season
podcast
2,
works.
Episode 42. We're like, oh, that's what we're supposed to do.
But it's also like just our retention of information. Like there's good storytellers, and then there's bad storytellers.
I'm a bad storyteller.
I have always considered myself a very bad storyteller.
Yeah, we're pretty bad storytellers.
I've talked to like my girlfriend Jack, who's like super animated, like can tell a story like
it's not
word
us.
for word multiple times, and like she's like, you're not a bad storyteller. You just like you need to be like a little bit more excited about things. Like
but when people say that means you're bad.
I was like,
that's like pity.
Like,
you're not bad.
I'm pretty
you just
bad.
gotta do this.
It's the like the monotone voice. It's things like that.
We gotta talk with a little more attitude.
Like that, not like that.
Like this
was the Mickey Mouse episode?
It's like we're having a conversation, right? But we also want to be like more like Kevin's got to get a little bit more in a comfort zone, like, or put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Like you're having a conversation with me, you don't want to talk shit to me because I'm your older brother. You look up to me and you think I'm your fucking hero. I'm your idol. You love me so much,
something like that.
That you don't want to talk shit.
Call Scott a bitch.
I can't do that.
Come on,
see,
dude.
that's what you gotta do. You gotta be able to call him a bitch.
You gotta break this shell.
Don't worry, he's not gonna be mad.
Scott's a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, get the fuck out of my house right now. Go.
I was just kidding.
Go.
I was just joking.
Go. I don't give a fuck.
Joke.
Get the fuck out of my house.
You're off the podcast, dude. That was a test. You're not supposed to disrespect Scott like that.
See, we can't be sensitive here, all right? We have to have these conversations, these bickering.
Dude, the funniest thing, I forget which episode it was. I think we had a guest on too. And Scott like, or Kevin interrupted you or something, and you like made a remark, but you were being like sarcastic or something. And then 10 minutes later, Kevin's like, hey Scott, I'm really sorry about that. Like during the podcast, and we're like, what? Scott was joking.
Yeah, it was.
That was so funny.
Yeah, that was really funny. But storytelling, visceral elements.
Yeah.
More cohesion.
More cohesion. Topics that we're interested in, we have to actually be interested in them, so other people are interested as well. It's like when I film a vlog. If I really like the vlog, it gets more views because I'm interested the whole time that I'm filming it. I'm like, I like this. I like what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm enjoying it, so they're going to enjoy it. Same thing with this podcast. I think that I've enjoyed this episode more than most of the episodes we shot in that other fucking room already. Mm-hmm. And I think that vibe and that energy permeates into the cameras and the microphones.
This episode gets like 100 views.
It might, because we haven't posted in a while. Honestly, it's gonna take some work to like get the podcast out there.
Rihanna doing Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh yeah!
Congrats!
I'm pretty stoked about that.
Is she gonna drop new music?
Is she gonna drop that baby out her womb or what?
I feel like she did.
Did she?
And it didn't come out.
It didn't come out.
What?
What did you say?
Like, it just stuck on it. I mean, like they didn't post about it. Like I think it's like private.
It came out, but it's still in there.
Is Rihanna gonna have that baby? I think she did. It didn't come out.
What the fuck? Went back up. It just dissolved into the uterus.
I was thinking of like some other halftime shows. What was it? Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, where there was like a little slip.
A little slip ruined her career.
Why? It's not her fault.
But what was the slip?
There's a scene, part of the performance. He grabbed, like they were both singing. He like grabbed her shirt and then like lifted his hand away and like ripped off, and one of her breasts was exposed. Apparently, she kind of got like blacklisted after.
How long ago was that?
Early 2000, like 2006, maybe 2004. I don't know.
It's kind of interesting, like.
But her career kind of like fizzled out after that, and people are like, "That's weird." Justin Timberlake skyrocketed up after that, and then she kind of got like people like, "Oh, she like exposed herself on live TV, all this stuff."
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. I was actually talking to someone about this a couple of days ago. The difference between like a man and a woman, and like being slut shamed, and like how comfortable they are with like nudity and shit like that. Like,
right.
I was like, I don't really care if people see my ass cheeks, like whatever. Like, it's not a big deal. And like, and the girl was like, yeah, because you're a man. Like, if I was to just like have my ass cheeks out in a photo, like. I'm a slut, you know, like it's not.
Where the guy, it's like, oh, he's being funny.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's not funny when I do it. It's funny when you do it. Like,
I mean, it's the same thing with like being topless.
Yeah.
In Europe, you could be topless. No one fucking cares if you're a woman. Where here, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Not allowed.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting thing, like as far as like the halftime show and everything too. It's like, what did she do wrong there? Like there was a slip and like something came out. Like,
right.
But also Justin Timberlake could have ripped his entire shirt off.
Oh yeah.
And been like,
thank you. Now we got a good thumbnail, bro. I can't stop looking at the nipples.
That was actually pretty good beatboxing of that song.
I actually meant to come into this podcast with my shirt off and be like, I'm home, baby. I can be shirtless on the podcast.
I'll never forget one time you guys, like, it was you and Todd like getting ready for a party or something, and I remember you walked downstairs. We had the big mirror in the living room, and you guys both took your shirt off and started doing like the pec flexing. I'll never forget that. I just remember sitting there like, what the fuck? And you started doing like the stomach roll. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
I can't do the stomach roll very well.
I was just sitting there
anymore. You used to be able to, or
I just can't do it very well ever. Like I
I
think I could do it if I like.
I don't know. You're doing something. I just remember
re-practice
as like a 10-year-old kid, like seeing this. I was like, "What the fuck's going on? These guys are crazy."
Hell yeah. Well, I'm done here.
Take the shirt off. You're done.
See ya.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the NGMI podcast. This is the first episode of season 2. We're really excited to bring some changes forth here. First of all was the set. Second of all is
the vibes.
The vibes. And I think like
vibes seem better.
I would like to know if you guys sensed like a little bit of a different vibe here on this podcast.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like being able to like look at you guys
closer,
and talk.
yeah.
What if everyone's like, this is worse?
Then I would be heartbroken.
Paint the walls orange.
If everyone says it's worse, I would be like, we're just done. I'm not going to do this anymore. It's a waste of my time. If they don't like it, then I'm done. You know?
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully the vibe's a little bit better. And if you have suggestions for us about like just any suggestions, basically.
Give us some topics or things you want us to look into that we can talk about.
Yeah. I mean, that's our job.
Yeah,
so
just general ideas.
But like, if there's something you're like, ooh, this would be cool that they could talk about,
really
throw it in
pressing,
there.
You know?
You don't have to craft the podcast for us.
But yeah, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're listening, thank you so much for listening. Please give us a like, give us a review, give us a comment, whatever it is, whatever platform you're on. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. NGMI.
Out.